Hello friends, welcome back to Toy Cafe. I am your host, and in this video we're putting together this adorable little bedroom. This is a dollhouse kit, so all the parts come already cut and labeled. We just need to assemble it, which is really the biggest part of the job and the most fun. So let's open up the box and get into it. And let's see what we got here. So we have some instructions, lots of pieces of MDF. Those are going to be our walls. Lots of little bags of parts. Each one of those is labeled with a letter. That's good. Makes it a little easier to find. And, of course, all these pages of wallpaper and floor decorations. We'll just start out by cutting those out, gluing them down, trimming them to size. I always like to leave them a little bit oversized when I glue them down. That way I can trim them down to size so we get a perfect fit. No ugly pieces of MDF showing through on the other side. Maybe a little bit of a white border, but that's better than the MDF. In the long run anyways. And we'll just put the walls together. I always like to start with this because it gives you a place to think about while you're building all the little knickknacks and things. And we'll get right into assembling. This looks like a little end table here. Lots of little pieces all go together to make up this, including little drawer fronts. And the nice thing about these miniatures is if you don't want the drawers to open, you just really need a facade on the front and just 2 squares or rectangles of wood. That's all it takes. So now we're attacking a chair. Very simple chair. You can make a chair very easily if you want to sacrifice on things like a angled back or angled legs and things like that, where this one is perfectly straight and looks perfectly fine, but unlike a real chair, this would be incredibly uncomfortable to sit in. So that's why a real chair is bent and curved to match the shape of a human body. But in these miniatures, you can have a nice straight one, and you don't have to worry about it. No one's ever going to sit in it. There we go, a little dressing table as well. Try to get those drawer fronts straight. And we'll put the handles on. The handles are just a string of beads, those little chains of silver beads that you get. Sometimes you'll see them in the bank holding a pen to the desk. Yeah, just a line of those cut down to size so they make a nice little, pretty little handle. And we're getting a bookshelf together here. Very arts and crafty bookshelf with all the shapes on the tops and bottoms. And just the overall design. It looks very nice. And this room has a window too. Of course it does. Every room needs a window, even if it's just to look outside and remember just what a beautiful day it is outside. Yeah. And now we're starting in on the bed. The bed's a little bit involved. We'll start right away with some more decoration. That's more of those chains of beads, little balls, yeah. Yeah, on a string, and just trim it to size. Gold this time, though, instead of silver. Contrast against the handles. I'm building the bed frame here, and we'll attach the headboard as well. And the bed in this kit is actually pretty nice. Not so much for the base construction, because that's pretty simple. Adding a little bit of lace here to help tie things together, make it look like there's a nice bed skirt there. This did not come with the kit. I added that myself. And I think it worked pretty well. But the rest of it did come with the kit, and I think it looks pretty sharp when it's all together. So we get lots of foam there to make it look nice and cushiony. 4 layers. This is the most I've ever put on any bed. And we'll wrap that up to make a nice little mattress like it's in its sheet. Nice and squishy, squanchy there. And we got some more material here, and we're going to start making some pillows out of this. So we're cutting it down to size. The cutter I'm using there is a quilting cutter, which is fantastic if you want to cut things along a straight edge, because the cutter itself is a wheel that rolls, and it makes it very easy to follow a ruler or whatever you have. You do have to be careful, though, because it is still razor sharp. So, nice little tool there to use. And now we're starting in on the blanket, and I'm getting my double fold over going there, like the bed has been turned down already. I think that makes it look very inviting, very comfy. And we'll glue down the comforter now, make it look like it's just draping there over the bed. I'm always undecided whether or not I should tuck in the corners or not. A nice made bed has nice tucked in corners, but then a kind of semi-messy bed looks a little more inviting in my opinion. Like this is a bed to be slept in, not to be looked at. So get in, have a nap. So we're putting together a wall lamp here, and I'm using various objects to help me bend the things around in a corner. You can find all kinds of things to use when you're bending wire or paper to help you get a nice even bend instead of a crooked crease. So it never hurts to look around and try to improvise. This is supposed to be a little stuffed animal that comes with the kit. I was trying to make a little Pikachu, but it kind of failed on me altogether, so we'll just ignore that for now. And now we're putting together a table lamp. Most of these kits, the instructions call for you to put the wire alongside the stand or the beads. And I always try to run the wire for the LED right through the middle of the beads. They have a nice hole there. I have a little reamer that I use sometimes to ream out the holes in the beads if they're not quite big enough to accept those two wires. And I think it just makes it more realistic and more convincing as a lamp, because this is how real lamps are made. They run the wires up through the base, up through the stem. Yeah, it just makes the whole thing look a little nicer. And now we're cutting out a purse. I love these little purses. They're so easy to make. They're just folded boxes covered in cloth. A little bit of glue, a little bit of time, and you have a fantastic little handbag. They look so good. Yeah, you combine that with the chain beads and a little gold bead or a silver bead for the clasp. Yeah, it just look fantastic, and they're so simple. You can just whip one up in no time. And you can come up with hundreds of different styles and variations too if you want to. All kinds of different shapes and sizes. Yeah, I just really like them. They're fantastic. So we're putting the room together now. We got the bed in there. I like to glue everything down in my rooms. Some people don't. They like to just glue some things together and then just place them because they want to rearrange the room later on. I tend to let mine sit on a shelf after I'm done with them because I like looking at them like that, not so much rearranging them and redecorating. Yeah, I like each one to be its own little world and to tell a little story about the person who lives in these rooms. What kind of person are they? So, what kind of person lives in this room? Well, let's start off with saying it's probably a little girl. She has a purse there. Anyone can have a purse. It might even be a satchel. A little more masculine, but still. I am going to guess it's a little girl. And she has a new stuffed animal that she likes very much, but she doesn't want it to get dirty. So she's left it in the box it came in, and she just gets it out every so often. So she's a very careful little girl, very, very consequence-minded. She has lots of little books here, so she likes to read as well, so she must be smart. Yeah, lots and lots of books. Look at them all. I also like to make my books look alive as well because they really tell you about the person. If they're all straight up and down, the person likes to be neat, tidy, and maybe doesn't read. But if they're kind of messy, this person loves to read. And they may love the books, but they use them. They actually live in there, so... So you have some other books here that are on display. So she has some favorites as well. Lots of cards there in that little box. Magazines. She's an avid reader for sure. Maybe not so much into television. A little plant there so she can care for the plant. And some little other bottles as well. Yeah. Kind of tell you a little more. And a journal. So she likes to write. 2 journals. She really likes to write. Yeah, so maybe this little girl is one day going to be a writer or an author of some sort. Yeah, that'd be very exciting. Interesting to see an author very early on when they're just budding into their craft. Yeah, so that's what I think this little girl that lives in this room is she's one day going to become an author of some sort. And she's already writing up a storm. And she has lots of imagination, but she's very careful with her things. Wants things that are special to her to last a long time, so she treats them nicely, respects them. Except for the books. Those she just devours as fast and as hard as she can. She's got 3 books on the go on her bed at a time. Yeah. Yeah, so that's that adorable little room. It's not very fancy or flashy, but I think it tells a neat little story about an unusual little girl. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. And if you did enjoy that, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon so you know whenever I have a new video available. And if you really enjoy this video and the other videos that I make, please consider hitting one of the links down in the description of this video. It'll take you to Amazon, and then if you buy anything there, including the supplies that I have listed there, the ones that I use, or anything at all, Amazon will kick back some money to me, and I'll use that to make more videos for you. But in the meantime, I want to say thanks for watching, and bye-bye.